Hello and welcome back to Asia Now. In this video, I'll tell you about Donald Trump will be the next US president and find out how that affects the Philippines and Thailand, foreigners arrested in Thailand, other foreigners get into a physical altercation, plus much more. Let's jump straight into our main story. By now, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, you know that Donald J. Trump will be the next US president. A lot of you guys were voting for him yesterday in the comment section. Well, I don't know about voting, but at least cheering for him. Donald Trump retakes presidency. Former US President Donald Trump is set to return to the White House after winning the 2024 U.S. presidential elections. Trump secured 277 electoral votes against Kamala Harris, who was able to garner 224 electoral votes. In May of this year, Trump was convicted on 34 felony counts for falsifying business records, becoming the first former U.S. president to be convicted of a felony. For the past little bit, a lot of people always like to poke fun of the Philippines politics, saying, oh, they only pick celebrities, or look what this guy's father did, but they, all this stuff. But look, US, same stuff, right? So it is what it is. The people decide who the president, the prime minister, and all that is. If you guys don't like it, go out there and vote. You can only do what you can. But I guess the majority of the people will decide who the next leader will be for their country. Of course, there's going to be divisions in any country. Nobody's ever going to be on 100% one side or the other, right? So that's what it is for now. And the president of the Philippines actually said this about the elections. President Marcos congratulates Trump, hopeful for unshakable alliance. Quote, I am hopeful that this unshakable alliance tested in war and peace will be a force of good that will blaze a path of prosperity and amity in the region and in both sides of the Pacific, end quote, Marcos said in a statement. That's the thing, right? So a lot of times this kind of stuff does have this trickle effect down to bigger major things. One thing I noticed definitely, actually, I'm just going to read this before I tell you guys. Wall Street rallied into record territory. The dollar soared and Bitcoin scaled a new peak as the world gears up for another Donald Trump presidency. Economics. It seems that the world economy likes Donald J. Trump based on whatever policies he's got in place against tariffs with China, whatever it is, wars, this and that and the other. All I know is, as a foreigner earning US dollars, for me personally, it's a little bit better because I can see right now 1 USD actually nearing 59 pesos per the dollar. So if you're earning dollars and spending in pesos, baht, real, whatever, Vietnam dong, whichever Asian country you're living, you're going to benefit a little bit more with him being in office. Without getting too political, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know, what do you think of this happening? Donald J. Trump being the next president and retaking office once again. Do you care that he's a felon? Do you not care? Anything you want to share. Not a place of hatred, but I just want to hear different people's opinions because I'll be honest, depending on the person, the time throughout my life, I always thought I was very, very one way about something until I learned more and had experiences or maybe saw some other stuff. And then I was a bit more open-minded. And that happened to me with a buddy of mine. Anyway, so I'm not going to get into all that. But yeah, people do change. They learn new stats. They learn new information. There's a whole lot behind everything. So yeah, just a next step in the future when it comes to the U.S. elections and presidency. And one last story regarding the elections. Thailand's strong diplomatic ties with the U.S. remain steady regardless of the outcome of the U.S. elections. Foreign Affairs Minister Maris whoever expressed confidence that the enduring relationship between the two nations will continue as their mutual goals and cooperation are consistent. The U.S.-Thai partnership spans government initiatives, trade, security, and educational exchanges. U.S. Ambassador Robert F. Godek also confirmed the strength of these ties, stating that the U.S. will remain committed to the partnership with Thailand while challenging such U.S.-China tensions may arise. Thailand's focus of balanced international partnerships aims to ensure continued growth and stability. That's the thing about many countries when it comes to being smaller countries, but Thailand is becoming a very big economy. They don't have to really pick sides, right? Some countries can, like India, for example, they can afford to be both on US and China's side, right? So some countries have no choice but to pick sides, for example, right? So to have that backing, that support, maybe military or economically speaking. So Thailand seems to be positioned very well. If you don't know, they've never been colonized. So yeah, probably the reason for lack of English in some areas. So much to go into, but yeah, so that's another story regarding the elections. Speaking of the US and the Philippines, the US FDA recently flagged several popular Philippine sauces such as Jufran banana sauce, UFC sweet Pinoy style spaghetti sauce, and Mang Thomas all-purpose sauce for containing harmful food additives like BHA and potassium iodate. This alert issued on October 24th or 25th is not a full ban, but means that the products will be reviewed at the border before entering the US, including Guam. This has raised concerns among Guam distributors and Filipino communities who rely on these items, as they might no longer be able to import them. Distributors like Sky Guam are complying with regulations, informing customers that they can't stock these products. If you're concerned, buddy, change ingredients. And you can't have all this stuff in somebody's food and eating it and they're gonna get sick. So if you actually care about your product and your sales, make some adjustments. I know it's probably not easy. It's probably gonna cost you a little bit, but I think in the long run, as a company, I'm seeing stuff. As a company, it's probably a bit more beneficial for you if you comply with FDA regulations. But please, by no means do I think the FDA is perfect. Just saying. Somewhat close to Guam, let's talk about Australia. Australia plans to introduce a world-leading law to ban social media access for children under 16 years old, aiming to protect their mental and physical health. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced that is that the guy's name? Announced that the legislation expected to take effect 2025 would impose strict rules, including age verification, to prevent underage access. This ban covers platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X, with no exemptions for parental consent or existing accounts. While supported by Australia's opposition party, some groups argue that ban might push youth towards unregulated online spaces and suggest that a balanced approach to digital safety could be more effective. Wow. So imagine all these teenagers can't use any of these platforms. I don't know how that's going to go, to be honest, although I do agree that it's not good for teenagers' health. But an outright ban like that, I don't know if it's going to actually work, because we all know we were teenagers. We're not supposed to access certain sites if you're 18 or under, but you know, we did it. So stuff like that, I think it might lead to something even more problematic, dark web or whatever. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think this is a good idea, bad idea? Do you see any downfall from it? Or do you think it's just going to work out fine? Let's go back to Cebu. Participants of the Tour de Cebu 2024 showcased their vintage automotives at Tebagan Plaza, officially commencing the car rally set to cruise through the streets of Bohol. This car rally marks a decade of showcasing historic vehicles as a rolling museum, the first of its kind in Southeast Asia. That's fantastic. I'm not really a car guy, but I do appreciate, like, I can see why people love that stuff, right? So the power, the design, the history, it's just a really manly thing, let's be honest, to be into cars and just know about it, right? So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you have a favorite car type? Do you like classic cars, muscle cars, EV cars? I don't know what kind of cars there are. Like I said, I don't know much about it, but pretty cool to look at just from like an outsider. And now it's time to go ahead and check out Thailand for the usual buffoonery by expats and tourists. A recent video from Patong Beach in Thailand shows two visitors fighting, which has upset many local people. The video went viral on TikTok, and Thai people online are discussing whether the laws for visitors should be stricter. Many feel that people visiting Thailand should follow local rules and be respectful, just as they would in their own countries. This incident has led to calls for clearer rules and better enforcement to make sure everyone stays safe. The police haven't made any statements yet, so it's unclear if there will be consequences for those involved. Here we go. Once again, you have two sides of things. The police trying to make sure that they don't damage tourism in Thailand, because it's a very, very big part of the GDP. And then you have the usual, like, locals don't want to see that nonsense of the country, right? And of course, the drunk and chaotic and, you know, tourists having fun and doing stuff like this. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just like, for me personally, I don't get involved in these things. Like, as far as physical altercation with another person would have to be a really, like, extreme case. But it happens. Let's not pretend we're all perfect, right? Some people get into fist fights. I've lost my cool several times. But how does one deal with that? You know, like, do you kick them out of the country? Do you ban their visa? Do you put them in jail? Like, do you charge them the same as they would back home? Do you fine them? Like, there's I can see why it's not a clear-cut situation. Is it right? I don't think so. I think there should be like a standardized way of handling the situation so it doesn't get such a bad reputation. It's the same as the whole like red light district where they pretend that doesn't happen. I mean, come on, man, it's everywhere, right? So, and it's kind of ironic because they like block adult sites over there. Yeah, it's a whole weird situation in Thailand when it comes to like handling misbehaving foreigners. Speaking of misbehaving foreigners, a British and Dutch band were arrested in Bangkok on November 5th for trafficking substances after being caught with 210 grams of e-pills and a lot of grass. The suspects were tracked after officials found a suspicious parcel from the UK containing MDMA. Further searches uncovered large quantities of grass, including 30K of vacuum sealed of it at a rented house, and another 6 kilos at another condo. This joint operation highlights the ongoing efforts between Thai and British authorities to curb international trafficking. What is up with these two specific countries? I've covered many stories regarding the UK, Thailand, and the devil's lettuce. Staying in Thailand, Thailand is offering Indian nationals indefinite visa-free entry with 60-day stays. Thailand has now indefinitely extended visa-free entry for Indian nationals, allowing up to 60 days per visit, with an option to extend with an additional 30 days. Initially set for 1 year, this policy became permanent following a tourism surge driven by Indian visitors. Thailand's popularity among Indian travelers continues to grow, contributing to economic growth and spontaneous travel bookings. This extension reflects Thailand's strategy to strengthen regional tourism and ease travel across Southeast Asia, with the Shenzhen-type visa under consideration for 6 regional countries. Thailand remains committed to being a prime destination for Indian tourists. Because before Indians had to get a visa, and I don't think they were allowed for that long, and now they are pouring into Thailand. And now it's time for a segment called Yesterday Today, where I read some of the most popular comments regarding a previous video. STE Car says, my wife and I both voted for Trump, and all my Filipino friends wanted Trump to win. Now hopefully all of these wars will end, and the economy will be much better soon. The stock market loved the news that Trump won the election. The stock market definitely did. As far as all the wars and all that, I really hope so as well. Hopefully one man can make all that difference. More Trump support. Jim says, Trump, Vance, let's go. They have the best team ever. Michael says, the carolers come out in groups to your home, especially if you're a foreigner, to get tip money. It's Christmas begging. And Stumble Guy says, thank you. No, thank you for watching. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave your comments down below regarding anything I covered today. If you take the time to write it, I'll take the time to respond. I'll see you guys tomorrow.